Today, I feel like I had a good day. Like, objectively, I just felt like I was so in my head. And it's like some days I just like, all I'm doing is like thinking. And even when I'm like trying to distract myself, it doesn't work because I'm just fucking thinking so fucking much. And yeah, recap for today. I went to work and I just hate sitting at my desk because I can't get over the fact that, I don't know, like all this shit happened with like the review process, like the annual reviews, and I just felt like I was like, I don't know, getting all this shit that I didn't deserve, and I felt like I contributed a lot, but then my manager was like comparing my stats with other people's on the team. It's just like the stats are one hard to compare because there's not that many numbers to compare, or like the sample size is really small, so everything is just kind of like blown out of proportion if you look at like the numbers, if that makes sense. But it's like I just get so angry because I feel like I'm contributing so much during team meetings. Like I'm one of the like longer whatever tenure person on this team. I've just been there the longest, so I feel like I've accumulated a lot of knowledge, and I feel like I really share that knowledge, and I constantly like volunteer for things, and I constantly do things, and I feel like I'm always pulling my weight, and it stems from me like not wanting to let people down, and that's like my motivation. And so I feel like I'm always like trying to be a good team player. And from this last review cycle, I just felt like, I don't know, like my manager was being unfair, and I was like the easy target because I just got promoted, whereas everyone else was like new on the team, / they just, you know, have been at their level and they didn't just get promoted. And like, I don't know, I'm just like so fucking annoyed. And I really try to just like separate people from their actions. And I know that if they made the decision that they did, it's because they thought that was the best decision at the time, and they're only doing their best, and they're human, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I can like work with my manager and try to figure out the next best course of action to not make the same mistakes. I really try to like regain that trust that I felt like was lost. But for me, it's like really hard to change my, I don't know, impression of people or perspective of people if I just feel like it's been made. And especially with work, it's hard because it's like there's no incentive for them to gain your trust, but there's so much incentive for me to play the game of like corporate America or whatever. And I just like can't play the fucking game, because if somebody is just like annoying to me, I'm gonna only see them as this person that I cannot trust. And so it's hard to interact with people and just like move past my frustration, because all I can remember is like how they've wronged me, or like how I feel like I've been treated unfairly. And today I was just so triggered because I volunteered for something because nobody else was gonna do it, and I was just trying to be a fucking hero for no fucking reason, because like I felt like I had to prove myself and like increase my stats, because I felt like I let myself down in the last year by not doing it enough. And it's just like, why am I doing this shit if it's not even being recognized at all? Like, there's no incentive for me to like volunteer and do all this shit, and nobody even gives a shit. The most frustrating thing to me is that I can't like move past it. Like, any interaction I have with this person, and when I see them, I just like get angry, and I feel angry. And it's just like reminds me of the time where I had my first job and I got upset about something, and I brought it up with my manager, and I ended up getting fired. And it's like so hard to know like what you're supposed to say, what you're not supposed to say, how to play the game. And it's like, do I have this conversation with my manager to try to make things better, or do I continue to ruminate and try to like figure out on my own how to like change my perspective? And I think what disappointed me today, or like why I was disappointed in myself, is because I let those emotions like take over to the point where I'm just like outwardly like being like, I'm fucking pissed, I'm fucking angry, and just letting anyone hear it. And that's like so inappropriate in a workplace. But it's like I just like let my anger get the best of me, and then I was just annoyed at myself for that. It just sucks to feel like nobody really cares at work, which I know is understandable. I don't know, like if nobody cares and nobody's engaged and I walk into a meeting room feeling angry, like that's just such a terrible way to like live every day. I just hate when I let my anger affect me. But it's like hard because it's work and I don't care. Whereas if it's like I'm upset with my friends or upset with like somebody that actually means something to me, it's like worth it to try to like fix my attitude or like change my perspective because I like have this baseline level of trust or like care. So then in my roller coaster of emotions of a day, Marshall helped me kind of like look at my options for like therapy and like seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a psychotherapist or whatever. And I just felt so overwhelmed with my emotions in doing that because like, one, I know how difficult I am when it comes to like being lazy and feeling like someone needs to hold my hand or like really push me to do something. And Marshall's just so fucking patient with me, and I know how difficult I was because I was like, fuck, like what do I say, what do I do? Like I just felt so lost, I didn't know what to do. And because like he's kind of done this before, he would be like, okay, it's okay, do this. And it's like I know that I'm being difficult because someone both like has to push me to do it and say like, it's fine, it's easy, you can do it, and then also like hold my hand through it. I don't know why I like resist so much when things are difficult. And I don't know, Marshall and I talked about how like he thinks that I avoid a lot of things, and he thinks it's because I don't think very highly of myself, or I feel like I'm not worthy or I'm not enough. But a part of me is also kind of like, I don't really do things unless I know that it'll be fruitful, or I know that there's something I'll get out of it. And so it's really hard to like push myself to do therapy or like push myself to go further and even see a psychiatrist when I don't really see necessarily the benefit. But then again, like I feel like I have learned a lot since starting therapy like a month or two ago. A part of me is like, damn, I wish I did it sooner. But also it's like hard for me to make long-term investments in things when I don't see the payoff, and I also feel like I just need instant gratification. If nothing's gonna guarantee that that'll happen, then I'm less inclined to like invest in it and do it. And I don't know why that is, but I just want to say that I'm so thankful for Marshall, and I'm so glad that like he is in my life because he's been the one that's like been so selfless and patient with me and has like helped me like get better or like push myself to live a better life, if that makes sense. I started crying earlier because I was like, Marshall, I literally don't deserve any of this. Like you literally helped me, and I haven't done anything to show him how much I appreciate him, and I feel like me telling him that isn't enough. I know that there is such a thing as like unconditional love for people that you care about, but it's so hard for me to like accept it because I just feel like I don't deserve it. Like I didn't earn any of that. Like I literally feel like I don't do anything to contribute to Marshall's life at all. And it's like he's done so much for me by just literally sitting in a room with me and like doing all these tasks because I'm so bad at just like doing all this shit on my own because I can't push myself to do it because I'm a fucking piece of shit. But like I don't know, I just get really overwhelmed when I think about how Marshall has been such a good friend to me and I didn't earn it at all in any way. And my emotions obviously didn't stop there, because all of my thoughts just kept building on top of each other. And then I started to think about how, like, I felt like I was really thankful in a way that all of this shit happened with Alex, because I felt like it really pushed me to really try therapy. And I always told myself like I wanted to do it, but it wasn't until I saw how like I was like crumbling in my brain that I felt the need to actually really try it and give it a shot. Just because there were so many things that I felt like were not efficient with my thought processes, that I was like, okay, something's fucking wrong and I need to fix it. I don't know. And then the rest of the day, I just kind of kept feeling angry, because I just started the day feeling angry. And I was just like, fuck, like, why did I waste all of this, like, time, effort, like, even money on, like, Alex? And it's like, I just was so angry at myself for, like, I don't know, just, like, feeling like I invested so much, all to say that, like, he didn't even care. And I just feel like I care so much about so many things. I, like, put so much, like, time and effort and, like, thinking into, like, him, and I still fucking do. And it's like, why am I not fucking over it? And I know, like, everyone takes their own time to get over things, and it's fine, and it's only been 2 weeks or whatever, but it's like, fuck, like, I want to get over it faster. Like, why am I still thinking about it? Why am I still being reminded of all these things? And it, like, doesn't even fucking matter. And, like, I just was mad at myself for all of the time and thoughts I just, like, wasted and am continuing to waste on him. And, like, later in that day, like, I met up with Tony, and I just, like, remember I was, like, being really stupid at Uojimaya, because we, like, validated our parking, and then we tried to, like, exit, but then the machine, like, took Tony's ticket, and then he was about to pay for parking, and I was like, no, we just spent, like, 200 fucking bucks at Uojimaya, and you're not gonna fucking pay for parking. So I went to talk to the attendant as I was, like, eating my chips. I didn't know what he was saying, and he probably thought it was so ridiculous, and then he came out, and, like, all this shit happened, and it was just so dumb. But then in my head, I was like, damn, if I was with Alex instead of Tony, Alex probably would have just, like, scolded me, or been like, why the fuck are you being like this? Like, why are you imposing on this person? Like, Alex probably would have just been like, okay, I'm just gonna pay for the thing, it doesn't really matter. But then I would have been like, fuck, no, like, we're not fucking paying. Like, we validated our fucking parking that we were supposed to. And yeah, like, that thought in and of itself just was, like, bringing me down, because it just, like, reminded me of how I knew things weren't gonna work. Yeah, I still wanted to try, and I was still thinking about him, and how, like, I just, like, wasted all this time on him, and I still do. It doesn't mean that I don't miss him, and I don't miss having him in my life. And I feel like I'm going back to what I was doing in my routine before I'd even met him. It's like I didn't mind that routine, and I like it, but also part of me just, like, misses, like, the companionship, or misses having someone around, or misses, like, being able to just, like, relax. Because if I'm on my own, I constantly feel like I need to be doing something efficient with my time. But with Alex, it was like I could relax with him and still feel like I was doing something with my time. Not to say that I can't relax with other people, but that's just, like, not my first thought. And, like, during taiko practice, I just, like, wasn't really focused, because I was just thinking all these things. And I just, like, wasn't engaged in it. And I feel like that's how taiko has become, is just, like, me going through the motions, like, not really being engaged, but then, like, still having fun afterwards. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was, like, fun, and it wasn't as bad. But just, like, the feeling of not being in, like, a flow state, and not feeling like I'm really actively participating, is just, like, such a shitty feeling. And then it reminds me of Alex, and how it just seemed like that's how he always was around me. And I'm like, I don't know. I just, like, keep getting reminded of things, and then I just get angry. And then I start to think about how, like, I don't know, I did so much to try to be a part of his life, and he didn't even care that I was in his or not. Ah! Literally, I want to die. But then that reminds me of how I think the reason I wanted to hold on to Alex or just like keep trying is because I really appreciated how he made me feel like I could be really honest with him at one point. Not anymore. Yeah, I felt like I was never that honest with anyone I dated in the past, and that was just like a good feeling. And I felt like he made me want to believe in like unconditional love. Like, I feel like there were so many things that I had never felt before that I felt with him. Like the want to just like take care of him or support him or like do nice things for him without feeling like it was because he did something for me and I felt obligated. Like I just unconditionally wanted to be there for him, and I never felt that before with anyone else. And I don't know, just these feelings just made me want to like continue in this relationship just because it was like relatively so much more real to me than any of the others. Okay, and then last thought that just kept popping up in my brain today, but I feel like my biggest fear, and I even told him this like over and over again, was that I didn't want to feel like a burden. If I'm in someone's life, I want to like be like a shining light in their life. Like I want to be like someone that makes other people happy, and like I want other people to smile and laugh because of me, and I want people to have fun when they're around me. And it just sucks because like I always felt like a burden to Alex, and I always felt like I was annoying him, and I always felt like, I don't know, me saying what I wanted or being myself or wanting to talk to him, it just always felt like I was such a burden. And I don't know why I couldn't have realized that in the moment. Maybe because I was always like, well, relationships should be like give and take, and so, you know, if he can't handle this, or if he needs to be this way, or if he needs to like process this way or react this way, like that's fine, and I shouldn't expect him to be perfect. And it's like, looking back, like I'm so mad that like I just like let myself feel like I was burdening him, and it was like I let it all happen, and he made me feel that way. Yet I still wanted to like do whatever it took to make him happy, and that's all I wanted. I wanted him to be happy. I wanted to see him happy, and it's like he didn't care that I always felt like a burden when he knew that that was like my biggest fear and the one thing I want to avoid at all costs. And that just made me so angry just thinking about that. It's like he let me feel that way, and in a way let me feel like things were my fault. Even if he tells me that there's nothing wrong with me and it's just that we're incompatible, it's just like over and over again I felt like his actions and his words would just validate to me that I was not enough, or I was reacting in the wrong way, or doing all these things that were wrong. I don't know, I feel like in a way it's good because I'm learning and I'm growing, and yeah, like everyone, you know, will react differently and feel a certain way, and I need to be more understanding when people do react in the way that they do, because I know sometimes I'll be like, okay, well that's immature, that's inappropriate, but sometimes if that's your reaction, then that's your reaction. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like I need to also be better at practicing like compassion, and also be better at not being defensive when someone says something to me in regards to like how my actions made them feel. And I think it's good that I'm being more aware of it now as a result of like this relationship or whatever. I guess I just wish that I could have seen the signs or whatever. I definitely like noticed things when we first started to get to know each other and talk to each other, and then I was just like, well, it didn't matter, because I feel like if he values communication and I value communication, and we can like have conflicts and try to figure them out, like, then it'd be fine. But obviously it didn't work out that way, and it's like, kind of like noticed them, brought them up before things went the way that they did. I don't know. Now I'm just fucking rambling. And I've probably talked for like 20 minutes just now to myself. It's fine. But yeah, like, overall it was a good day. I felt like I did so much. I was just like thinking so much, and I don't like letting emotions take over and thoughts take over. Fuck. Ah! Okay, goodbye.